Okay, next shelf. So, first up, we have Drifting Dragons 1 to 14. I'm not sure if I'm up to date with this anymore. I think there's a lot of series where I'm just like, I'm not sure how up to date I am with them, especially because nowadays I mostly kind of just wait to see deals and such, and bigger cadentia, a bit more pricey. It's just such a pretty series. There are some negative connotations in how it's quite similar to whaling in that they go hunt down dragons. It's super pretty. I think I've read a few. I'm not up to date. It's super pretty, but it is a shame that when they talk about eating the dragons and all the delicious foods and stuff, it's like, I can't eat a dragon. That's such a shame. They have these recipes and it's like, great, what can I use to eat this myself? What can I replace the dragon meat with to have something similar? Then we have Drip Drip, which is a one-shot. I have not yet read it. Same manga as Beastars. Earth's Drugstore in Another World 1-5, Slow Life of a Cheat Pharmacist. I think I might now be behind. Not an amazing isekai. It's Guy's isekai and he can sort of just generate any form of medicine, liquid and bottle, and he opens a pharmacy, drugstore, basically. And each chapter is him trying to solve someone's issue, usually through producing drugs. It's quite light-hearted, it's not amazing, it's just nice. I've started getting Ben the Light novels. I don't think I started reading them yet, though. There is The Duke of Death and is made 1, 2, and 8. The first couple I think I got secondhand. This one, Volume 8, I got in the Sci-Fi Daily Deals. As you can see, I'm behind. I think 8 is more recent a volume, but I don't have any of the ones in between. I see lots of good things about the series. I don't know anything story-wise about it, just lots of people really enjoy it. Oh, Dungeon Builder, The Demon King's Labyrinth is a Modern City 1, 2, and 5. I haven't picked up any more volumes of this year. It was okay, so I'm just waiting to see it on sales or secondhand pretty much. Even less than £5 is my goal. Dungeon Dive, Aim for the Deepest Level 1 to 3. I don't think I'm up to date with that anymore. It wasn't a great isekai, once again. I know I'm like, I love isekai, but I can also acknowledge which ones are the shit ones. And this one wasn't that great. Then we have Dungeon Friends Forever Volume 1. This is not an isekai, it's fantasy. It's about a guy and a dragon lady who were childhood friends, and now he's an adventurer and she now is the big bad in a dungeon. It's kind of cute. It's not what's the word? There's not a lot of conflict or drama. He keeps powering through the dungeon to go see her, and he then moves into the nearby village city so we can see her more often. She's very excited because she has a very obvious crush on him. And they spend more time together. And then there's also other adventurers who are trying to just clear through the dungeon. And they both seem a little oblivious to their relationship, being as odd as it is. It's kind of cute, but it's not outstanding either. Then we have The Dungeon of Black Company 1, 2, 5, and 7. I think I got another volume this year in a sale corner, but I haven't started reading it yet, though. Ben has and isn't that impressed, which is weird considering it's an isekai. Then we have Dungeon People 1 and 2. I have read the first one and I went in with kind of high hopes because it sounded like a dungeon management. It's like how they run a dungeon, how they load up the chests and keep track of adventurers and traps and stuff. And I went in kind of excited, and then I felt a little let down. I don't think it was as good as I hoped it would be. I think I built it up to be something in my head that it wasn't. Don't know if there's any more volumes than 2. Oh, we have Dungeon Toilet 1 to 3, and that is complete. It is an isekai. It's based entirely around toilets. It's not a good isekai, but I kind of like it. You learn a lot about toilets and how they've developed in different parts of the world throughout the ages, how they work. It's been kind of interesting to read. You have to be okay reading a lot about toilets and poop, though. It's again not a good series, but I would potentially recommend it, especially since it's so short. Then we have The Earl and the Fairy 1 to 3, and I am missing volume 4 before I'm complete, unfortunately. This is a hard series to find, so I'm just waiting to see it secondhand, probably. I don't really know much more about it. I think I did start to read volume 1 an age ago, and then halfway through I learned it was 4 volumes, decided to hold off and read it in one go. Then we have The Eccentric Doctor of the Moonflower Kingdom 1 to 3. I am getting volume 4 for Christmas, so I would consider myself up to date. I really love this series. It's quite similar-ish in terms of setting and setup to Apothecary Diaries, sort of imperial times with a female knowledgeable in medicine. I feel like this Eccentric Doctor is a bit more focused on what I would consider more real medicine. That's not to say Apothecary Diaries isn't real medicine. I feel like Apothecary Diaries focuses more on like the mystery. There's some odd mysteries, and she uses her medical skills to help us solve those mysteries. Whereas this, I feel like, is more medical themed. Also, she has an admiration for hunky men, and I absolutely love her for it. So I'm really, really enjoying this one. It's a pricey series though. In store, I want to say it's £13.99, which is crazy when it's $14.99. Yeah, that one too. I was like, let's just check a later one. Yeah, like that's not how conversion works. I suppose, is there more like, does it cost more to get it shipped to the UK or something? But damn. Does pain me so when there's a lack of currency exchange knowledge. Especially when people like have a go at me about, oh, the price isn't that bad, it's this much in my currency, and it's like, have you tried doing the currency conversion? Because I think pounds often still comes out more expensive. Hey ho, ran over. Next we have Eden Zero 1 to 24, and I do think I'm getting another one for Christmas. I think I'm about up to date. It seems to come out really quickly, and I am behind on reading it. Not that behind, I think I've just not read these 4. So it's the same manga as Fairy Tail, and I like Fairy Tail. I like his art style. I like how rounded it is. I know some people are like, it's really basic, and I'm like, yeah, I'm fine with that. I like that. And I like the exaggerated, like, character designs and hairstyles and stuff, because I can tell who everyone is. I appreciate that a lot. I like In Zero. I kind of like a lot what happened in volume 20, which is why I'm like, why have I not yet read more volumes? I do think I'm in mixed minds on whether I enjoy it more than Fairy Tail, because I personally enjoy fantasy more than sci-fi, but I think the story setup is done better in Eden Zero than it is in Fairy Tail. I would recommend, but it is quite a long series, isn't it? Right, in here we have got Elden Ring, The Road to Erdtree Volume 1. So I picked this up for Ben. Ben has played Elden Ring and likes Elden Ring. I have not played Elden Ring. I probably won't play Elden Ring. It's not my kind of game. I do not like rage games because I get very angry. So I just avoid them. I watched Ben play some of it and I got so angry on his behalf I had to stop watching him. He said he really enjoyed this though and is looking forward to more volumes, but I feel like I might read the manga, but I can't bring myself to play the game. Next we have The Elder Sister Like 1-5, and it's the only one I have. I got it in the sales section in Forbidden Planet because, I mean, look how thin that is. I feel like even at $4.99 that was almost too much money. Not that I've read it or know anything about it, but it's so thin. I also thought I was picking a different series up initially when I grabbed that volume. I made a mistake. Next we have The Elusive Samurai 1-4, and I am behind on this now. It's like on 9 or so volumes at the moment. It's the same mangaka as Assassination Classroom. I wasn't overly sold by volume 1. I think the cover's really, really pretty. I was a bit sad to see that all the spines are just going to be solid red. I genuinely was a bit annoyed about that, and it's one of the reasons I don't think I've rushed to pick up as much as quickly as I probably would do normally. I think I want to get a bunch to read together, I think, because I enjoyed doing that more with Assassination Classroom than when I then started reading them volume by volume, so I might do this the same. I don't know. Next we have Embrace Your Size, which is a one-shot. I have not yet read it. I have a few one-shots I need to get through, so I might do a day of one-shot reading. Next we have Eminence in Shadow 1-7, and I'm getting 8 for Christmas, so again, I would consider myself up to date on that. I finally read the first volume during my Isekai month earlier in the year, and I loved it. I loved it a lot. It's so very silly, and just, I really, really enjoyed it. It was a great isekai. It's a great isekai, and I can't wait to read more. It's a shame it's so thin, though. So most of my volumes I've waited for good prices, basically. Then we have a volume of Emma Volume 2. It's the only one I have. I paid £5 for it. So now I'm at a point where I'm like, I kind of like paying that kind of price for this. I don't think I'll be able to pay that kind of price for all of them. Hey ho. I do think it's had a reprint. I see volumes on Sci-Fi, so I do think I'll be able to complete it. It's just waiting, giving myself enough willing myself to be able to pay the prices that I probably will have to pay to get it, is what I'm getting at. Any Alan Duelia 1-3, that is complete. Same mangaka as Witch Atelier. I really like the series. It seems to be quite polarizing, which surprised me. There's a lot of people who don't enjoy it. I really do. It's very silly. It's about a angel and demon who are like best friends over a shared love of fashion. There are some really heartwarming chapters that will make you cry. Made me cry. It's kind of a bit of a nothing series, so if you go in with too high expectations, expecting something like Witcher Atelier, you might be let down. But if you're wanting just a really pretty, like, angel demon short read, you'll be fine. Next we have the ephemeral scenes of Setsuna's Journey Volume 1, another volume kindly given to me by Yen Press. I wasn't that impressed by the volume. It is an isekai. I thought it was okay. I think there so far isn't really much that sets it apart from other isekai. Like me, I'm thinking about how to describe the story to you that would make you go, it's that series, not, it could be one of many series. So that's why I think it's almost worse than trying to describe a bad series even. It's fine. It was okay. It was a pleasant read, but it was like, what about it stands out to other series? So a guy who's been sick, he's isekai'd, he is like one of many people that's been isekai'd who's given the title. Unfortunately, because he's so sick, he doesn't have abilities or something, and he is visited by a previous person that's been isekai'd. Previous guy gives his abilities to this guy so he can attempt to actually live a life this time around, and he ends up being very overpowered and mooching about trying to just live, I guess. Yeah, it's fine. Rambled quite a long time about it considering it was an okay series. Next we have Essence Being Amused Volume 1. I have not yet read the series. I do think there's another volume out though. Then we have Error Ninja Scrolls 2, 3, and 4. All of these I've bought on sale. Weirdly, I'm struggling to find Volume 1 even like not on sale, just at all, which is a shame. I do understand it's very, very explicit. I know it's plastic wrapped in its ghost shit, but even people who collect those sort of things have said, yeah, it's quite explicit, which is like, oh, okay. I like we've got Rainbow Spines though. Then we have Ero Manga Sensei 1 to 3, and that is up to date because unfortunately it does seem like Dark Horse are not printing any more volumes of this. Well, I don't think they've said anything, I just don't think they've like announced any more, I think. Apparently Dark Horse is known for that, which is a shame, but I mean, I think the last time when I picked up volume 3 was like 6-ish years ago, 5 years ago, so, and there's been nothing about it since, and it is complete in Japan. Who knows? It's a bit of a weird series anyway, to be fair though. Then we have Even Dogs Go to Another World, Life in Another World with My Beloved Hound 1 and 2. It's up to date. I've only read the first one. It is another I would consider generic isekai, with the trope being he has brought his dog along with him, which I know a lot of people have said like there's a lot of cat manga, why can't there be more dog manga? And I would say here you go, here's one. If you like dogs, you'd probably enjoy the trope more than me. That's not to say like I dislike it. It's nice to read about cute looking adorable animals, just I am more cats than dogs. Even though we're adults 2 and 4, both of these were bought on sale in World of Books. I don't have volume 1, so I've not yet read it. I think it's a GL. Next we have Everyone's Getting Married 1 to 9, and that is complete. I did have 1 to 8 for a while and then couldn't find 9, it seems to be out of print. And then I found it on Sci-Fi and I was very, very happy because it was just like regular Viz volume price as well, which is wonderful. Oh, you can see my shadowy fingers. Oh, hello. Oh dear. Then we have Everything is Fine 1 and 2, and this is a newish webtoon series. I bought volume 2 when I bought a whole load of new webtoon stuff, not realising I accidentally bought volume 2 over volume 1, and then I found volume 1 second hand on Sci-Fi for like £8, so I was like, excellent. I haven't started reading it yet though, but these like faces look really familiar. I don't know if I've happened to have seen this series about. Next we have The Evil Secret Society of Cats 1 and 2. Volume 3 is out. It is a pricey series at like $13-14.99, so I don't normally get it that quickly. I wait for sales. It is full colour. It is kind of 4-coma. Well, it is 4-coma, but you only get like one story on each page, so it is a very quick read as well. I absolutely love it. It is wonderful read, especially if you own cats or a cat fan, about cats having a secret evil society. It's just wonderfully adorable. It's cute and lovely. Absolutely would recommend if you can find it on sale. Next we have X Yakuza and Stray Kitten 1 to 3. I do think 4 is out, I don't have it. I haven't started reading the series yet, even though it's got a cat in it. Executioner and Her Way of Life 1 and 2. I'm not sure if 3 is out. This is an isekai, which I didn't realise. And it's about this character who her goal is people keep getting isekai'd and she goes around and executes them, basically, because they have fancy powers which are dangerous to the world, and she is tasked to get rid of them. But then some questions start getting raised and it gets slightly interesting. Then we have Extra Drive Reincarnation All Japan Isekai Battle Tournament 1 to 3, and that is unfortunately complete. This is it is an isekai series, but in the sense that in this world isekai is a sport and the characters purposefully get isekai'd by Truck-kun, and then they like compete in these worlds. They purposely get run over, get isekai'd, and then they compete in this world, and they earn points depending on what they do, and they can take some cheat powers in with them, and it gets ranked and everything. And I absolutely loved it. It is a not very well written series. I think everything outside of the isekai worlds is a bit boring, but like the whole like earning points and doing different things, and sometimes it's not even just doing the right thing is the best way to earn points, because you might have a cheat skill that inverts and doing bad things earns you points instead. And it was really neat. Unfortunately, there's only 3 volumes, and it doesn't really make sense how it ends. It just ends. I tried looking it up. I think there is a light novel that might be ongoing or might be cancelled. I also wasn't entirely clear. So that is a shame. I like it, even though it's not good. But I'm not sure I can recommend it because I think the story is slightly ruined by the really weird sudden ending. Next we have a chunk of Ice Shield. We have 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 11, 12, 15, 18, 20, 21, 22, 27, 28, 32, 34, 35. I think the only Ice Shield I've gained this year is 35, and that was recently from Sci-Fire. My friend, actually multiple friends I know in person, are massive Ice Shield 21 fans, and I would love to read it to know why they love it so much, but it is unfortunately very hard to find. I'm not sure if I want to say out of print, but it feels that way. I sometimes have found just random volumes on random sites, which is how I've ended up mostly with the ones I've got. But I'm already even missing volume 3, so I can't even try and start reading it. I won't get that far in. So I think this is just a slow, see what I can do, collect sort of series. Next we have Failure Frame. I became the strongest and annihilated everything with low level spells 1 to 4. I can't remember if this is an isekai. Yeah, it is an isekai. It's very generic and probably quite similar, I'd say, to like Ayafureta. Guy's isekai'd with his class. He has low powered skills, so gets sort of thrown away, but actually he is quite powerful with his low level skills and meets some booby women. I haven't read all the volumes I have, but yeah, average isekai, it's fine. Then we have Fairy Tail 1 to 21, 22 to 63. There we go. And that is the base series complete. I mean, nothing's changed. I've had it complete for a few years now. Love Fairy Tail, love magic. Did get a couple of weird moments where it felt like, what's the story doing? I know it has a lot of mixed feelings for it, but I love it. I love it. I like the whole friendship solves everything. I'm a sucker for it. Next we have Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest 1 to 13. I think I'm getting one for Christmas, so again, consider myself up to date. This is just a continuation on from Fairy Tail, which does feel a bit weird to begin with, because Fairy Tail, it was like they beat the big bad guy, and then Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest sort of starts off with, oh wait, what about that continent over there? I wonder if there's any bad guys over there. And yeah, they are, and it turns out they're even bigger and badder. I've kind of gotten stuck around here. I do feel Fairy Tail benefits from binging because the battles often last multiple volumes, and I think if you read them as they come out, I just struggle to follow them, so I do like getting a bunch and reading a burst of them, I think. Then we have Fairy Tail Blue Minstrel 1 to 4. That is complete. It's a spin-off focusing on Wendy and Carla, I suppose. kind of do mysteries or fix problems. Fairy Girls 1 to 4, that is complete, based on the women of Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail Ice Trail 1 to 2, complete, which is a prequel series surrounding Grey and how he sort of ended up being the way he is as a kid. Then we have the, I don't know what they're called again, spin-offs, because they're numbered, but they all have their own titles. So Twin Dragons of Sabretooth, Rhodonite, and Lightning God. So this is based on the 2 dragons of Sabretooth. This one is based on, I forgot, Gajeal, and that lady. Doesn't say on the back, damn it. And this one is based on Laxus. And considering I really like characters of both of these, I was so happy that they got the like spin-off stories. We get a lot about like what happened during like one of the time skips. Yeah, enjoyed it. Then we have Fairy Tail S1 and 2, and I don't know which came first, the anime filler arcs or this, but these are just like sort of short stories, and there are anime filler arcs on most of them, because I actually watched the filler arcs for Fairy Tail and then read this and I was like, oh my gosh, I could have waited. Then we have Fairy Tail Zero, which is a one-shot based on the founding of Fairy Tail, and it's very, very sad, and my copy has a massive rip in it, which I didn't find out till after I got home and I was very sad about. Hey ho. Okay, so for our next 2 shelves, these are the FAQ shelves, and they're going to be very blurred. Because of YouTube guidelines, I don't think I can really show you or even talk about much of them, and I'm also a bit nervous to say some of the titles. I have acquired quite a few this past year, and yeah, because I nearly have 2 full shelves of them. Also, alphabetically, they end up being like the first thing you see when you come in the room, which is slightly unfortunate, especially when my mother came in and went, why do you have a volume that's called... Yep. I also feel a bit weird trying to give recommendations when people ask me for FAQ recommendations, because I feel like I'm almost like, well, just tell me what sort of things you're into, and that just gets too weird, and I'm not really interested in doing that unless I like know you really well. So yeah, don't come asking me for recommendations, because I'm not going to give you any, apart from maybe 1 or 2 of the more tamer ones, because it's just weird. It's just weird to ask me that. Unless I like really know you, but that's different. As we have Fango 1 to 3, and that is up to date. I don't think it's complete. I've still not read my volume 2 or volume 3. I did get volume 3 this year in Sci-Fi Daily Deals. I personally didn't gel with the series too much. It just reminded me of my own times at university, and I didn't really want reminding of that. So I don't think it's necessarily bad, just made me sad. Then we have Fiancé Chosen by the Ring, 1, 2, and 4. I was meant to get volume 3 for Christmas last year, and Forbidden Planet didn't send the volume out, and it was the only order that Ben ever placed from Forbidden Planet, and he never chased up about it, and I need to just now rebuy it, but on principle I'm trying to get Ben to rebuy it for me, but he's been a bit grumpy about it. I kind of like it. It's a fantasy romance. It's fine. It's chill. It's not outstanding. Then we have Fiancé the Wizard 1 to 4, and that is complete. It is an isekai. It's kind of split into like 2 halves. There's like an arc for the first 2 volumes and an arc for the second 2 volumes. I feel like it probably would have done better with like 1 long arc, considering how short it is. Because I feel like in the first arc, they kind of just skim over the fact she's been isekai'd. We don't really like hear much about it. And then the second arc does talk a bit more about her being isekai'd and why she's isekai'd and stuff like that. And I think it would have been better if they kind of merged the 2 instead of having such a distinct line between them, because it ended up making them both feel a little bit rushed in my opinion. So I'd rather it got drawn out and they were merged together a bit. But it's still not bad. Romance short isekai. And we have the Faraway Paladin 1 Omni. Is this the only one I have? Yeah, it's the only one I have. I would be on the shelves if I had any more. This is okay. It is a J-Novel Club. It is an Omni. It's heavy. It's dense. So that's 2 volumes in that. It is an isekai, I want to say. And a guy is raised by these, like, 3, I want to say monsters, but monsters probably not a nice term. Like, there's a mummy and a ghost, a spectre sort of thing, and another one I've forgotten. And they kind of raise him like he's their child, and they're kind of preparing him for something. There's a whole bunch of like backstory about how they've ended up in that situation, who he is, and it was kind of neat. But I wasn't like blown away enough to rush to pick up more. I'm waiting to see them secondhand. Then we have Family Life from Another World 1 to 7. I personally have been finding this a little dull to read. I find a slog to get through a little bit, which is a shame, and also everyone else that I see talking about it seems to love it, so it sounds like it's just a me opinion, which is fine. Damn fairy lights. It started off and I really liked it because it felt kind of Harvest Moony. So like this guy is isekai and he's given an all-powerful tool, and he decides to build on some land and try and just live a chill life farming. And like as he builds up the land and makes it bigger and bigger, we get these like top-down perspectives of the land, and it reminds me of like looking at the map in Harvest Moon, and I love it. I feel like it's gotten a bit weirder though the further in we've got, because all these people keep turning up because he's able to produce all these crops and has a nice like village nowadays, but all these women keep wanting to like bed him and have his children and be his wives, and it's like it just feels so disconnected to the other part of the story, and it just puts me off a bit. Why? Okay, next we've hit the Final Fantasy section. We have Final Fantasy Lost Stranger 1-9 that is up to date. I have talked about this a little bit before, so Lost Stranger isn't set in any particular Final Fantasy game, it just sort of draws elements from them, so some common things like the races, like Moogles and stuff, the different types of skills, the classes, and all that are in this, but it's not set in any particular Final Fantasy. It's its own entity and can probably be read sort of on its own, to be fair. It makes lots of references to other Final Fantasy games, and if you don't understand them, like me, who has only played one of the Final Fantasy games, it's okay, because in the back they explain all the different references, such as like the different sort of spells and foods and stuff. Apparently there is a lot of references to Final Fantasy XIV, which is the only Final Fantasy game that I have really played. I was going to say it's the only one I've played. It's not true. I have tried playing other Final Fantasy games, but they've just not really done it for me the same way that 14 does. I am a big 14 fan. Finally managed to catch up with Story this year. I went to FanFest in London this year. I went to the orchestra in London. Probably where a good chunk of my year has gone is playing the game. So Manga and Final Fantasy XIV has been my year. Speaking of, we have Final Fantasy XIV Eorzea Academy, which is unfortunately a one-shot, which pains me so much, because I loved it. It was very much written like it was written for a 14 fan. There were so many different references, all the characters were so adorable. I would say that you need to have played up to the end of Shadowbringers, I think, for you to not have any spoilers and not be any way confused about what's happening. Pretty much the main characters in this are Alphinaud and Alisaie, and there's a whole bunch of other characters in it as well. I didn't realise who these characters were at first until I started reading it. So there's an academy, and there are classes of light and classes of darkness, and there's some feuds going on between the two of them, and also Tatara is the headmistress. It's excellent. It is very wonderful. And I can't believe we only have this one volume. Then we have Final Fantasy Type 0, and I think that is a one-shot. I haven't read it, Ben has. And also Final Fantasy Type 0 Side Story, the Ice Reaper 1-5, and that is complete. Again, these are for Ben, not for me. I don't know why. I've not really gotten into other Final Fantasies. Before you go out to recommend your Final Fantasy, there is probably a good chance I have tried it, or I've watched Ben play it, and I don't know. I think I've just been spoilt by 14, and I'm so absorbed and suckered in and have a problem, but it's fine. I'm quite happy with my problem. Plural. Okay, next shelf we have Fire Force, and I think we've got a clear run to 28? Yeah, I think we've got a clear run to 28 and then just randomly 33. It completes at 34. I think 34 might actually be out now. I think. Is 34 the last one? Yeah. I think 34 is the last one. So I'm a bit behind. These do pop up secondhand quite often, so it's one of the reasons I've slightly held off. Same with 7 Deadly Sins, actually, when we get there. I pretty much only pick that up secondhand nowadays. So I'm just sort of holding off at this point, because I've not really read that far in. I've only read the first few volumes, so I'm not going to run. I very much doubt I'll catch up before I need another volume. If that made any sense. I enjoyed Fire Force though. It was like lots of firemen fighting. yeah. I know a lot of people don't like the fan service, but I don't mind it because I'm a terrible person. And then we have my free Blackwell's tea. I don't know what to do with that, so at the moment it's just decoration. And then what do we got down here? Oh, I saw something I forgot was there. Right, we have my gimbal being silly. We have Fire Punch 1 to 8. It's complete, but I have not yet read it. I'm a bit daunted because of what I hear people say about it. Then we have First Night of the Duke 1 and 2. I am getting Volume 3 for Christmas, and then that'll be up to date. I really liked it. It is the first series I've got by Net Comics. I don't know who Net Comics are and if they're doing any more, but I really enjoyed this one. It's an isekai about someone who's isekai'd into a novel. She is like, ends up being isekai'd as like a background character, and she's like, well, I'm living a good life, I'm like a duke's daughter or something, and she's a noble of some sort, I think. And she's like, well, I'll just live a good life, it doesn't matter. And she goes to a party, gets a bit, drinks one too many, and wakes up the morning after in bed with the Duke. Oh wait, no, she's not the daughter of the Duke. The partner is the Duke. Oh wait, she's not the daughter of the Duke. She ends up bedding the Duke. I can't remember what title she is. The series so far is him saying, well, now we have to do the honourable thing and get married, and she's like, in her head, because she's read the novel, he's the main male lead, and he's meant to marry the female lead. And she's like, I can't ruin the story this quickly. And then keeps trying to set them up and say she can't marry him. Blah, blah, blah. Lots of things happen along those lines. I quite like it. I am very much looking forward to reading my Volume 3 though. Desperately. Desperately so. I actually read both of these in one night. Then we have Fire in His Fingertips 1 to 4, and that is up to date. I think have a Volume 5 on pre-order. I think I might still have it on pre-order with Blackwell's, which means I replaced that like over a year and a bit ago. I'm sure it'll come out at some point. What a nice cover that is. Look at him wall banging. I feel like Fire in His Fingertips introduced smut where there's like a bit of a relationship to it, because I think a lot of the smut I'd read before this was like ghost ship kind of smut, and then this was kind of more relationship kind of smut, and it was kind of fun to read, and I hope lots of other people have discovered it as well. Oh yeah, the full title, A Flirty Fireman Ravishes Me with His Smouldering Gaze. Then we have Fist of the North Star 1 to 5 and 8. I got Volume 8 second hand for like £7. I haven't started reading this yet though. I don't think it's the most popular of the series. I don't really see anyone talk about it anymore nowadays. Maybe it's just the circles I'm perusing in. It is an old classic series. Ben is also interested in reading it. I'll get to it at some point. Thank you so much for watching part 5. Do remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you in part 6. Enjoy the cat.